special guest joining me, Daxx Nielsen from Cheap Trick. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Double T. How are you?
Good. It's great to have you here.
It's good to be here. You know, I've got 2 kids at home, so I've been up for 3 hours now.
For you guys, I mean, you're usually super busy, but over the winter you've had shows. It's not like you haven't been doing anything, but it's been a little slower than it is in the summer.
Yeah, it's been a fairly slow first quarter, as they say in the business world. Yeah, we've probably done like 6 or 7 shows so far, and it's already April, which has been nice. Like I said, I got 2 kids and a wife at home, which I love dearly. So
it's nice to spend some
to
time
have the opportunity.
Yeah,
especially the young kids. You know, spending a lot of quality time watching them do their first things and just getting to know my kids and let them get to know me before I leave. For
who's dad? First thing though, I want to say the thing that I never thought I'd hear you say. In the first quarter.
Right.
Except unless we were talking about the Bears game or something. What type of things, you know, obviously spending time with your family and your kids is important when you're home. But what else do you like to do? You got to have a little Daxx time, too, when you're home. What do you like to do?
I hang out with friends, hang out with my family. I mean, same thing, one and the same. Around here, it's just been so cold that there's nothing to do. Sit around and watch Moana about 40 times. With Ivor.
Is that the movie right now?
No, Minions is the movie right now.
Okay.
It was Moana, then The Secret Life of Pets, and it's like as soon as it finishes, he wants to watch it again.
Right.
But he memorizes it all. And right now, it's Minions all day long.
Isn't that funny how kids are though? They get a movie that they love and they just want to watch it over and over and over.
Get familiar with it, and if you pay attention to your kid, like you actually realize they're learning lines, and like he'll turn to me before something happens and start giggling. And, you know, it's like
he knows.
Oh, he actually knows it's about to happen. Yeah, banana.
Talking to Daxx Nielsen from Cheap Trick. So, what is the plan? I mean, I'm sure you guys have a big rest of the year plan. What do you guys have going on?
Yeah, I mean, I've counted the dates. There's at least 80 shows left this year.
So my God!
Yeah, no,
and you know that more are going to get thrown in.
I guarantee they're going to get booked. So, you know, we'll end up over triple digits, like always. It's just, I think the first quarter, it was just, sorry, I said that again.
That's okay.
The first 3 months of this year was slow. Just doing some festivals here and there. We actually did a country festival down in Fort Lauderdale last weekend. It was us and like 9 different country bands.
How does that work?
I mean, we'll play with everybody. Cheap Trick's kind of the ultimate band to play with anybody.
It is.
We've opened for Korn. We've opened for Foo Fighters. We've opened for Peter Frampton.
Right.
Played with country bands. It's like, they can kind of do it all. Their music's not too heavy, not too wimpy, not, you know, it's like.
And you can adjust the playlist.
Totally.
To the set list to for whoever you're playing with. I mean, to me, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Cheap Trick is the ultimate special guest.
Totally.
They're so great to have.
They always joke. They say they're the world's most famous opening act. Like, I didn't make that up. The guys always say that because like they've opened for Kiss, for Queen, for Foo Fighters, for you name it, Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam's open for Cheap Trick. It's, you know, it kind of goes back and forth.
The first time I ever saw Cheap Trick, they opened for Rat.
Yeah. Unbelievable, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, wow, you think about all the different bands.
And people get upset every year without fail. You know, we announce what summer tour we're going on, and everybody's like, you guys should be the headliners. And it's like, it's not up to me, obviously, but, you know, the band loves to go out there and kick butt and then have the headliner have to go up after them.
Yeah,
you know?
I would not want to follow you guys.
Poor bands, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think about this summer you guys are going on with Poison, and I think, wow, you really got to bring it if you're going to follow you guys.
Yeah. I'm going to put on my favorite do-rag every night. What's going on under there, do you think? I don't know.
I don't think anybody knows.
BM.
Except for him. What else do you guys have going on? I mean, I heard kind of rumblings about another new album.
We're working on another album. Yeah, this one's kind of taking a bit longer, just, you know, family stuff and whatnot. And there's no rush. We put out 3 albums in the last 2 years. So
it's like the 70s again.
I know, it's been great. I love recording, and I've become a live guy throughout the years. I've always toured, versus becoming like a studio cat. But man, I always wanted to be. Maybe in my later years, I'll just go to the studio and hole up in there and just make music. That would be great. But I love recording, and so do the guys. And so we've just been recording whenever there's new songs. And we're kind of toying with some ideas of releasing maybe 1 or 2 songs here and there versus a full album.
Oh, okay.
Because that seems to be the model. Like, people just buy 1 song.
Right.
And why put out 12 when there's only 1 that people want to hear? So we're kind of toying with maybe just releasing songs as they come. instead of doing albums.
Yeah, I mean, and how do you guys write when you're out on the road, or
kind of all
take space?
Everybody just brings in ideas.
Right.
Depends on if we set up recording times. Hey, everybody pile stuff together like a Dropbox kind of thing.
Okay.
Share all your ideas and pick through it. What do you like? What don't you like? What could you change?
And that's the cool thing about technology today is you guys can all be in different places. And I mean, you're probably, you live 5 minutes from your dad.
Right.
And you guys don't even have to see each other. You could just email parts. All right, what do you think of this? What do you think of that?
Miles and Dan McMahon, they have a studio here called the Midwest Sound, and I've gone out there to do drum tracks and email them to our producer. Just it won't make the album, but like, hey, can you put some drums on this so we can have a rough demo to work on? It's like, yeah, I don't have to fly to Nashville to do a drum track.
That's kind of nice.
I'd like to. But.
Well, I was going to say, sometimes it's nice to be able to go and set up in a studio. What is that like to be able to, I mean, obviously the live experiences, you can't beat that, but what is it like to go in to just a professional recording studio and sit down and be able to just play the drums and be part of something like that?
It's so different because it's there forever. Whereas playing live, it goes by in a second, it's gone.
Right.
It's kind of heat of the moment. And in the studio, you really have to, it has to be just right. I mean, you can go back and redo stuff or rethink ideas because it's permanent,
Right.
Depends if you're working for somebody, or if it's your own band, it's fun. The studio, if you're working for an artist, you have to make sure you're on top of your game and do it right the first time or maybe the second time, because by the third time, they're going, can't we get somebody else that can do it in one or two tries?
Right. Oh, yeah.
And as a drummer, it's tough, too, because they'll come into the song and they'll play it for you once and go, okay, you ready? It's like, ready to do what? Like, oh, don't you have all your parts already nailed? And you're expected to. Chart it out on the fly, write it down, and okay, let's go do it.
It isn't like that you could, pull your drum kit into the, living room and practice a little bit while the kids are taking a nap.
Right.
You're going to wake up the whole household.
That's been tough for me, having two little kids. There's really no time to play drums. And the kids are asleep. I'm going to go bang away on the drums for a couple hours.
You're set up in the garage. Right. Yeah. The neighbors are calling, Daxx is banging on his drums again. It's 2 a.m. What's going on?
I've been playing lots of acoustic guitar instead, or electric guitar not plugged in,
or have the headphones on. There you go. Special guest Daxx Nielsen from Cheap Trick. So we talked about you guys are going out with Poison this summer, but you got some other cool shows going on too.
Yeah, we're actually doing the opening slot for a few, probably 5 shows of the Journey and Def Leppard tour.
Oh, that's a big tour.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be huge. But we're doing like 5 baseball stadiums. We're doing Petco Park in San Diego, Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and Fenway Park.
See, that's awesome. That's really cool.
That's going to be so great. I love Boston, and I love that park, too. It's like that and Wrigley are the two, just the meccas for old baseball stadiums.
But you're not playing Wrigley, are you?
Not this year. We were lucky enough to do, who's doing it? It's Foreigner.
Okay.
Those jerks. I was like, I'll trade you. I'll trade you San Diego for Wrigley. I'll trade you Petco Park. We're doing Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and I think we're doing whatever it's called in Minneapolis.
Can't keep track of those names anymore.
Yeah, I think it's U.S. Bank Field or one of those things. Who knows?
What is it like playing these huge baseball stadiums?
It's so stupid. You look out there and like, oh my God, that guy's like literally 300 yards away from me or something. I love that. That for me it's people go, oh, did you get nervous? And I go, no, I get nervous if you play in front of like 5 people.
Right, because they're so close.
You can see their eyeballs and you can see kind of what they're thinking, When you play in front of that many people, it just becomes...
You can see when they're on their phones, not paying attention to you.
Yeah, back when I was doing a lot of auditions in L.A. 10 years ago, like, you're literally being videotaped by a guy on a couch or an artist. I did a Colby Calais audition one time, and she never even looked at me once. She was on her phone the whole time. I knew I didn't get it just by... She never even said hi to me.
Right.
But there's a video camera, and it's like, okay, do what you do. I'm like, well...
Do what I do.
It's just me in a room. I'm not going to start posing away, Like if I got 10,000 people in front of me,
you should have ripped off your shirt and then and then
Taylor Hawkins walked in with no shirt on already. No, he didn't, but I could see that.
You see these guys. You see some of these guys, and it's kind of funny. That they play with no shirt or just like a pair of Speedos or something.
Tommy Lee style.
Yeah, that would be uncomfortable.
I would think. Chafing. No, Taylor's one of those freaks in nature. He's got to be like 50, almost 45, 50. And he's,
right.
130 pounds. And just, he's a surfer guy.
All pure muscle.
Yeah. Just all that energy. I think it just burns calories just thinking.
Have you ever seen the movie Hired Guns?
Oh, yeah. That scared me to death.
It's about musicians that are hired by artists to come work for them.
And, they're doing great for 5 years, and all of a sudden they get a phone call or an email from management like, hey, sorry, your position's been filled. Like, wait, what? I just bought a house.
Right.
That guy, he's like, I just bought a house in L.A., and like literally the next day after I closed, I got fired from whoever the guy was playing for. It's like, can I call the bank?
They decided to become an actor instead.
Right. It was like Mandy Moore or something like that.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty crazy. Talking to Daxx Nielsen from Cheap Trick. So you had something really cool, and it already happened, but we still should talk about it a little bit. You have a love for tacos.
I do.
And you always are talking about tacos and going to different places. And it's got to be great when you're on tour because, I mean, there's tacos everywhere.
That's kind of how, Lucha Cantina and I paired up for about 6 weeks. It actually just ended on the 15th. Unfortunately, it's done. But Josh, the owner, he went to a marketing seminar in Vegas, and one of the things that it says is partner your company with something that can help promote it and, do your thing. And he's seen my Instagram feed. It's pretty much music, my kids and my wife, and tacos.
Right.
That's pretty much the three things I post about. I don't know. I could go into detail where my infatuation with tacos began. But anyways, he saw that, and so he said, come in. We had a meeting, and he said, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I like this. I came up with 4 different ideas, and then they came up with how to make them. And so we partnered up. And it was like a 6-week deal, and it really did well. And all the proceeds that I am going to get from that, I'm donating to Club Blue Rockford.
Oh, nice.
Which is a foundation that my wife is a part of that helps out children in need in the Rockford area. Homeless children or just hungry children.
That's really cool. To be able to give back to the community, that's a huge part of what you've been able to do.
Yeah, I think the Nielsen family loves Rockford, and as much as we can help out in any way we can, we try to. And I think all the proceeds are going to go. The event is actually tomorrow night, Friday night. Is today Thursday?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I had to think about it for a second too.
It's tomorrow night, and the proceeds go to Rosecrans and Casa, which are both helping out the children in Rockford.
What is the event tomorrow night?
It's basically every year they do a different theme kind of deal. Not a theme, but they get an empty warehouse kind of, and they transform it into a nightclub just for one night.
Okay.
And it's great. It's kind of, there's a silent auction kind of deal. There's DJs, there's live performances. One year I did a thing. It was myself on drums and a DJ. And we just, it was like a drum DJ kind of battle.
Really?
Yeah, we did it.
Oh, nice.
It's on YouTube somewhere, but we did like some mashups.
Did you win? Did you win the battle?
The children won. No, it's just a great thing once a year that my wife's on the board, and it's months and months. I bet next week they'll already start planning for next year. It's that you take a week off and then start, because they get lots of donations, lots of time from people, and it just helps out a lot in the community.
Where can people find out more info about that?
ClubBlueRockford.org.
Oh, very cool. So you can it's tomorrow night, ClubBlueRockford.org. That sounds like a really good time. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to attend. Right?
I unfortunately have to go play a gig with Cheap Trick. Well, fortunately, I have a gig, but unfortunately, I won't be able to make the Club Blue event.
It's one of those things that happens, but it's
my
still
wife's on the committee, not the board.
Okay. Well, okay.
Sorry, honey. I've got the face for radio and not the brain for it. I can't remember everything.
It happens. Daxx Nielsen, the drummer for Cheap Trick. As you're home, what are some of the things that, obviously eating tacos is one thing, but what do you like to do in Rockford when you're home, besides spending time with your family? Where do you like to go? What do you like to do? What do you like any time of year?
Well, this time, now that I'm a father, we've got a yearly subscription, or whatever you call it, to Discovery Center.
Oh, nice.
So I took Ivor there the other day, and he has had a runny nose ever since. We've taken him there like 3 times every time. It's like, here comes the cold. Cause,
those kids, they're full of germs.
Oh, just boogers everywhere.
When you come home from tour, you're like, stay away from me. Yeah. I don't want to get sick.
It's inevitable.
What's your favorite area of the Discovery Center to play?
Well, I haven't really taken him outside of the 2 years old and younger, the tot area, I forget what it's called. But I don't really leave there. I just love watching him. He's running around now and interacting, and it's just to watch him grow up. And I'm just taking video the whole time. Hey, I'm that dad. Like,
that's all right, man. It's good to be that dad.
My phone is full. This way, I like dump all of the pictures and videos. But Captain Jack just arrived.
Oh man,
Captain Daxx and Captain Jack.
I'm glad to see you got a member of the family to actually show up.
Yeah, you're right. I was kind of telling you that a little bit earlier. Your brother didn't show up yesterday, so that's okay though. It happens.
No response.
I wasn't here either, so I can't.
You're not the Robinson brothers. You guys get along.
Yeah, we do now that we're not in a band anymore. Back in the day, the Harmony Riley days, we kind of butted heads.
I was going to say, what is that like when you're with your brother and your guys are pretty close in age? Mm-hmm. There's got to be a time where, first of all, you're in a band,
right?
And you're stuck together. and I mean, people describe being a band as being even closer than being married.
Yeah. Well, we're Miles and I aren't far apart, but at the time we we're 5 years apart. So when I was 21, he was already 26. Mm-hmm. When I was 25, he was 30. Like that's 18, 23. Those are kind of big differences at that age,
right?
I'm just out of high school and he's out of college already. So he'd already seen college and all that stuff, and I was just out of high school,
right,
or whatever. So I think we both had the same goal, but I wanted to go right and he wanted to go left, kind of thing. And we just argue and just hate you. Then, we'd come home and we'd go to like a family event and we'd be friends again.
Right.
But in the van, it was like 7 years of Oasis or the Black Crowes kind of thing. Like, fist fights, basically. He'd beat me up, though. So I try not to fight him.
Because he's wiry.
He is. Yeah, he's quick, that Miles.
This summer, out with Poison, you guys are, I believe, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, June 6th.
Yeah, that used to be called The World.
Yeah,
in Tinley Park.
How many different names has it been?
Center. Yeah, I know. I had to look it up and go, where is this place? Oh, it's The World. When I grew up.
Remember, it was The World, and then it was The New World.
The New World, and then the Tweeter Center, and then the Klipsch Center.
So catch you out there and so many other tours and maybe some new music. New music later this year, next year?
I don't know. It just kind of depends what happens.
No push.
No rush, no push. Right now, we're gearing up to go on the road pretty heavily. So we play tomorrow night. It's a private show in Connecticut, but and then we have almost 4 weeks off before the tour starts. So hopefully we can get some recording done in that time. There's music to be recorded. It's just a matter of getting everybody to do it.
Right.
Actually, Robin is on Broadway this week in New York City.
I saw that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think he's doing a week. I can't remember what it's called.
Rocktopia, yeah.
So he got asked to do that. So everybody's busy.
I think Dee Schneider did it last week.
Yeah, and the guy from Train, Pat Monahan, he's been doing it. So I don't know. It's like a Rock of Ages kind of deal.
Right.
I think, just a band on Broadway doing like a lot of rock, and then they get a special guest. And so Robin's doing that for a week. Everybody's got their own projects. Everybody's got stuff going on. So
it's good.
When you say we got a month until tour, it's like, oh my God, I only have a month to get everything done. So it's a good problem to have. But there, we do about 7 weeks with Poison, and then tons of gigs after that. We're doing Summerfest, a lot of festivals.
Oh yeah, I always like seeing you guys up there. That BMO Harris Pavilion or whatever.
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
It's a beautiful, that one right next to Marcus Amphitheater.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. So yeah, we're doing a ton of stuff. Every year we've been kind of doing like these package tours all summer, but this year we're just doing a quick one, a month and a half, and then it's a lot of just, as they say, weekend warrior stuff. So we'll do like Thursday, Friday, Saturday shows.
That's nice.
It's going to be great to be home during the week, see my kids in the summertime and
mow the lawn.
Oh yeah, can't wait. That's what I like to do in Rockford. I like to mow my lawn.
And if you're looking for something to do tomorrow night, clubbluerockford.org. There's a big benefit going on benefiting homeless children in Rockford.
Children that are underprivileged and homeless or hungry or just plain needing a place to stay, that kind of stuff. So,
well, very cool. Daxx Nielsen, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.